Tonight on CTV News at 6, sending students and teachers back to class. As teachers rally, the province reveals its plan to legislate an end to the strike.
They were serious about getting the kids back in class.
The speech from the throne on the NDP leader's first day in the House.
This doesn't decrease the price of eggs, Premier. This doesn't make the cost of living any better.
And a St. Albert man training for an Olympic tradition.
I want to be prepared. I don't want to be out of breath by the end of it.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Premier Danielle Smith says a bill to force Alberta teachers back to work will be introduced Monday. Meantime, thousands of teachers and their supporters rallied outside the legislature today. CTV's Evan Kenny joins us now live from there. Evan, how are people there feeling today?
Jeff, they tell us that they're feeling disrespected. However, they are ready to get back to work. So while these people were outside rallying, the province released its agenda for this session of the Legislative Assembly, and that included a motion to introduce Bill 2, which would send teachers back to school. Thousands of teachers, parents, and students gathered around the legislature, asking for a fair deal before they head back to the classroom.
It's really hard on us, and it's really hard on our students.
We're just a bunch of teachers, and we want our kids to be supported in the schools, and we want the government to listen to what we're saying.
But the province has different plans.
They were serious about getting the kids back in class.
The UCP government is introducing back-to-work legislation Monday. It also plans to pass legislation to fast-track this process.
We know that this strike is causing harm to kids. We know it's causing harm to teachers since there isn't a strike fund, and we want to be able to end it for the sake of both frontline teachers as well as students.
Teachers tell us they want to be back in the classroom, but not like this.
For me, it just shows that they're not willing to listen to us and listen to the public and really understand what is going on in the schools.
Parents we spoke to feel the same.
I think it's good if they go back to school, but not without an actual deal. If they're forced to go back, it's just going to lead back to another strike, is my opinion.
Alberta's NDP says this doesn't solve the problem.
They are going to ram through their back-to-work legislation in one single day. They're going to prevent elected representatives from talking about it. This is blatantly undemocratic.
As for when kids could be back in class,
Premier, when are schools going to open? Parents all want to know that.
That is still up in the air. Now, since the bill is being put forward on Monday, there is no timeline for when it could be passed and, like we said, when kids could be going back to school. Now, the Alberta Teachers Association says it's aware of this new back-to-work legislation, and since the bill has not been tabled yet, its full implications for teachers are unclear at this time. Jeff?
All right, Evan, thank you. That's Evan Kenny live at the legislature tonight. Alberta's chief electoral officer has approved a petition to recall Alberta's education minister. Dimitrios Nicolaides is the MLA for Calgary-Bow. The applicant now has until January 21st to collect just over 16,000 signatures from people in the riding. This is the first recall petition that has been approved under the Recall Act. The government also laid out its priorities for the fall session in a speech from the throne. It touched on many different topics, but Alberta's energy sector and sovereignty got the most mentions. As Jeremy Thompson reports, the first piece of legislation also addresses Alberta's autonomy.
A warm welcome for Naheed Nenshi in the legislature to start the fall session. It's been 16 months since he took over as leader for the New Democrats.
And now is here to claim the right to take his seat.
Congratulations, Honourable Member.
Lieutenant Governor Salma Lakhani's throne speech on behalf of the UCP government touched on building roads and schools, progressing a passenger rail plan, and spending more on police. Alberta's autonomy and energy sector took center stage.
Alberta's energy resources are a national treasure that can and must be developed aggressively. Alberta is winning and will continue to win this battle for our freedom and and provincial rights.
Provincial authority is also the focus of the government's first bill of the session.
And that authority cannot be signed away by Ottawa. That's why we are taking the next step to defend Alberta's constitutional rights through Bill 1.
The International Agreements Act shelters Alberta from deals the federal government signs with other countries or international bodies if they impact areas of provincial jurisdiction.
If I may, what in the ever-loving conspiracy theory, blatantly unconstitutional and illegal bullcrap is this?
Nenshi says the bill doesn't address the major issues facing Albertans.
This doesn't decrease the price of eggs, Premier. This doesn't make the cost of living any better. This doesn't fix public education, and this doesn't fix health care, and it isn't worth the paper it's printed on.
Premier Smith defended her decision to prioritize provincial rights while a teacher strike nears the end of its third week.
Well, we have a legislative agenda that wasn't foreseeing that we would be in the middle of a teacher strike. So Bill 2 is the Back to School Act, which will address that.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Police have arrested an Alberta teen on terrorism and child pornography offences. RCMP say the 15-year-old was already in custody at the Edmonton Youth Offender Centre at the time of the arrest. The youth is facing several charges, including participating in terrorist activity, violating a terrorism peace bond, and possession of child pornography. RCMP confirmed this is the same Edmonton area teen that was arrested in May on a terrorism-related offence. The 15-year-old remains in custody at the Youth Offender Centre and is scheduled to appear in court in Edmonton on October the 24th. 5 missed ballot boxes in 3 wards, then a 600-vote swing after a recount in another has prompted a mayoral candidate to call for a third-party audit of Edmonton's election results. Despite the issues, Edmonton Elections says the process was, quote, verified and sound. Amanda Anderson reports.
But I think there's a bit of a trust issue now, right?
Tim Cartmel isn't disputing his loss to Mayor-elect Andrew Knack, but says voter confidence in the integrity of Edmonton's election is waning. That's why he's calling for a third-party audit.
I'm not suggesting that that any of the results are really going to change. But when you get only 30% turnout, that speaks to, a cynicism amongst the electorate about, whether it's worth voting, whether a vote really changes things.
A recount was ordered in Ward Sipawinawak. Candidate Daryl Friesen says he was told by the returning officer there was a problem with the initial count.
She came and she said a mistake has been made. These have not been counted, and they need to be counted. And that's what changed it.
Before the recount, Friesen was ahead by just 6 votes, a lead he lost by about 600 votes to Thu Parmar when the recount was finished.
I really congratulate her. She's going to be an excellent councillor.
Edmonton Elections says a candidate's name had to be added to a tally sheet manually. The order of names was different on the next sheet and meant some results were attributed to the wrong candidate. Drew Westwater, who worked for Alberta Elections for 2 decades, says the province shouldn't have done away with vote tabulators.
They fixed a problem that didn't exist.
He says manual counts open the door for errors.
They've been registering electors, filling out paperwork, dealing with the public, handing out ballots. It's now 8 o'clock, 10 hours later, and they're tired. And with a machine, you push a button and you go home. When a vote tabulator, your work's just begun.
And we're going to be working with them to make sure they follow every single law. And as far as I'm concerned, it's required they must count every single ballot, no exceptions.
Despite the election issues, Westwater says people should have full confidence in the final numbers.
Those results are brought back to the returning officer, and they and their teams review all those results and totals and confirm that they're accurate and correct and that everything's been done.
Official election results will be released at noon Friday. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The University of Alberta's hockey teams are moving to Nisku temporarily. The Golden Bears and Pandas hockey squads will play in the Silent Ice Centre next season, while Claire Drake Arena gets a facelift. The U of A says the aging facility needs updating. That's about 8 to 10 months of work that includes fixing sewage and drainage. Students will have access to buses taking fans from campus to Nisku to watch games. U of A hockey teams have called Claire Drake Arena home for more than 60 years. A St. Albert man is just 2 months away from the experience of a lifetime. Kevin Ransom will carry the Olympic torch in Italy. Eric Takash reports.
Prep Preparations for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy are well underway. In St. Albert, preparations of a different kind have begun.
And right now, I'm trying to get back into shape.
Kevin Ransom has been given a task he can only dream about. He's been selected as a torchbearer for the Olympic torch relay in Italy.
Italy's a beautiful country, great culture, great history. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can't turn those down.
Ransom is taking his daughters, Callie and Katie, along for the ride. He'll run a section of the torch route in northern Italy sometime in December.
They say like 200 to 300 meters, so it's a relatively short distance carrying the torch, but I don't know if I'm going uphill. I don't know if I'm going downhill. I want to be prepared. I don't want to be out of breath by the end of it.
Ransom has struggled with anxiety and depression since he was young.
I think there's a really sweet metaphor about carrying the torch, carrying the light to start the Olympic Games, and finding the light inside of you and bringing it out, and because it can go dim sometimes.
He wants to use the opportunity to inspire others. Merrick Takash, CTV News, St. Albert.
The Foo Fighters are coming to Edmonton next fall. And we'll take the stage at Commonwealth September 17th. It's part of the Take Cover tour promoting their new album out today. Queens of the Stone Age will open. Pre-sale begins next Wednesday. General tickets go on sale on October the 31st. That is, of course, Halloween, and Josh has found a place where it's already Halloween at Edmonton, Fort Edmonton Park.
Yeah, it is dark down here at Fort Edmonton Park, and it opens at 7, but as we were talking about during the 5 o'clock newscast, it is sold out for this weekend. So if you want to come down and get scared or just have some fun and some laughs, you got to go online to thedark.ca and book for next weekend. When you do come down, though, this is the man that everybody, when they walk past, they're like, oh, hello, Mr. Dark. Hello, Mr. Dark. How are you doing?
I'm dead, but thank you for asking.
Oh, so you're fantastic then.
I am.
Yeah. Everybody's always happy to see you when they come down. What's the number one thing that you get out of this, that you enjoy the most?
Well, I like feasting on their fear. I like tasting their terror. I like nothing more than to see the evil clowns, free-ranging feral clowns, chasing them around the midway.
You got free-range clowns this year?
Oh, yes. We're very sustainable in that sense.
Okay, that's very progressive of you, dude.
Yes, and fresh zombies every day.
Yeah. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how scary is this? As scary as you want it to be when you come down?
Oh, it is not scary. No, trust us. Come on down. I mean, there are zombies and there are aliens. And, we take the nice little rhymes of your childhood and cursory rhymes. We twist them around. You'll be in therapy for months. But no, it's not scary. You can trust me.
There you go. Well, if you can't trust Mr. Dark, who can you trust, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mr. Dark, thank you. Enjoy the warmer temperatures, although you're dead, so it doesn't matter.
No, I prefer something closer to the temperature of the grave. So, yes, if you can arrange for it to drop a few degrees, that would be great.
It will drop a little bit through this weekend, but not quite grave-like temperatures. So you're out of luck for a little while.
Put a clown in the trunk of your car.
Don't do it, Mr. Dark. Don't do it. There's a look at temperatures right now. We're at 14 degrees after hitting 17 for a daytime high today. Should be even warmer tomorrow, about 18 or 19. Then a bit of a turn through the weekend. We'll talk about that later in the newscast.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Edmonton's only operating historic movie theater is celebrating a major milestone soon. The Garneau Theater turns 85 tomorrow, and the people who work there say it's special that the old theater is still drawing crowds. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
For 8.5 decades, the Garneau Theater marquee has lit up the top of Walterdale Hill. Today, a special anniversary advertised on the awning.
There's a lot of nostalgia, and there's a lot of memories in this building.
The Garneau has outlasted all of its contemporaries. The Princess Theatre is closed, and the Roxy has been converted into a live venue.
So these are just some historical photos of the Garneau Theatre very shortly after it opened up.
The theatre opened in 1940. It's been operated and maintained by a number of companies over its 85-year history, lasting past the age of the multiplex and into the streaming era.
It's a bit of an anomaly in the movie industry these days to have a large capacity single screen building.
The Metro Cinema organization took over operations of the Garneau Theatre in 2011. They say the key to continually attracting new audiences is by offering an eclectic mix of programming and the kind of communal experience you can't get from sitting on the couch.
People spend a lot of time like multitasking. This is a place where you can come and give yourself time to just relax into a movie.
The theater's operators say its 35mm projectors add to that ambiance in an increasingly digital age.
There's something nostalgic about seeing that sort of warm, kind of grainy film look.
The Garneau Theatre will celebrate its 85th anniversary Friday with a 12-hour movie marathon, spanning a gambit of genres and generations and introducing people to something they may never have seen.
How does that make you feel?
It's what I live for, honestly.
Many generations of people that have, strong, wonderful memories of coming to this building, and that's a pretty special thing, I think.
The people behind the Garneau say they hope to remain a part of the city for years to come. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Coming up on CTV News at 6, expanding access to private diagnostic services.
It is much easier to deal with cancer or a chronic illness if you can find it early.
Some think the province's plans will burden the system more than it already is. Plus, another coal company will receive millions in a settlement with the province.
Friday on Your Morning, how to get your car winter ready. Plus, booksellers are seeing a spike in romance and fantasy novels. We'll preview a local market capitalizing on that trend.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The province is developing plans to reimburse more people for private medical testing if a serious condition is found. It's part of a proposal to expand diagnostic screening, but critics say it could put more stress on an already burdened system. CTV's Jordan Canigan has more.
It's pitched as a plan to allow Albertans to take proactive care into their own hands.
It is much easier to deal with cancer or a chronic illness if you can find it early through these detective modes that will be available for people to pay for themselves.
And the province is working on a system to allow people to be reimbursed for those private MRIs and CT scans if a serious medical condition is found.
Right now, the doctor's the gatekeeper. The doctor's the one who determines whether or not a test should be performed. We want to move to a model where a patient can go directly and get those tests and then be able to get them reimbursed if there's a problem.
But some worry the changes could mean those same doctors will take on even more of a burden as more public and private results are reviewed by physicians.
So we want to make sure that we're still following guidelines with regards to ensuring that every Albertan who's a candidate for screening has that screening available to them, and they are not delayed because of this new program.
In a statement, Health Canada says Canadians should have equitable access to medically necessary care based on their medical needs, not their ability or willingness to pay. That's why the Government of Canada continues to invest in strengthening our publicly funded healthcare system. There's also a worry it could bump publicly covered patients waiting for scans and add to growing wait lists. Data from the Canadian Institute for Health Information shows wait times for MRIs and CT scans jumped in Alberta in 2024 compared to the prior year.
What we've seen yesterday is the government announcement for more American-style two-tiered healthcare in Alberta.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
The Alberta government has settled a lawsuit with a coal company after years of flip-flopping on coal mining policy in the province. Evolve Power will receive $95 million in taxpayer funds. Earlier this year, Atrium Coal settled for $142 million. Both lawsuits follow a decision by the province to revoke coal mining licenses on the eastern slopes of the Rockies. In 2020, the province nixed land protection rules that dated back to 1976, prompting public backlash. The following year, the UCP government reversed its decision, cancelling mine leases and declaring an indefinite moratorium on coal exploration. The moratorium was lifted earlier this year. Still ahead on CTV News, the countdown to a run at baseball immortality.
Baseball's kind of always been my life from the start, as long as I can remember.
Fans in Edmonton can't wait to cheer on the Blue Jays in the World Series.
We're down at Fort Edmonton Park for dark. It's only more like dusk than dark right now. Another warm one on the way for tomorrow, and then that guy's seeing the forecast for Sunday. We'll show you after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Join me tomorrow on Your Morning Edmonton for Winter Car Care Series brought to you by Midas. Winter Tires 101, what you need to know to stay safe on the roads.
Series begins tomorrow night between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Jays' run has brought generations of fans together, and that includes an Edmonton father and son duo who got to see the Jays advance in person. Brendan Purdy has their story.
For the Jolly family, baseball is more than just a sport.
Baseball's kind of always been my life from the start, as long as I can remember.
It's a love that was passed down by Brad's father, Rob, a Blue Jays season ticket holder for the last 3 decades.
Extremely exciting, extremely rewarding, and really just a heck of a lot of fun. He loves being down here.
Brad wasn't born the last time the Jays made the World Series. In 1993, Joe Carter hit the biggest home run in team history.
Here's the pitch on the way, a swing and a belt, left field, way back, Blue Jays win it!
A bittersweet moment for the elder Jolly, who had tickets to a Game 7 that never was.
Going into the game, I felt like, who do I really want to win here? I could go to Game 7 if the Jays don't win, and that was an unfortunate way to feel.
32 years later, he wasn't missing another shot at seeing the Jays play a Game 7. And was rewarded with one of the most memorable moments in team history.
A swing and a fly ball to left field. Back goes Arozarena. She's gone!
It all came together into this one moment where, him and I are together at Game 7, and we just won it, and we were there live. And, I don't know if we'll ever be able to, replicate that again.
Between work and Brad's playing with the Collegiate Hawks, the Jollies will take in the first games of the World Series at home or at Remax Field's watch party.
A lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. Guys are going crazy, definitely not holding back. We're all here to have a good time.
But if the series goes long...
I've told my wife we're the official good luck charms, obviously, and so we really need to be there for Game 6 or 7.
A World Series return to the Rogers Centre isn't out of the question. Brendan Purdy, CTV News, Edmonton.
And the Blue Jays' postseason run even has hockey superstars excited.
I never played baseball. I had a great respect, though, for what they do. Those pitchers, the way they throw the ball, it's incredible. And trying to square up a round bat on a round ball coming at 100 miles an hour has got to be one of the hardest things in sports.
Connor McDavid says he's fully on board the Blue Jays wagon. He says it's fun seeing the country come together to support the only Canadian MLB team. As for his club, the Oilers are back from a 5-game road swing. They host the Montreal Canadiens. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock tonight. And back out to dark. And Josh, nice warm day and a mild evening.
Yeah, I mean, the weather, really, the last couple of days has been spectacular, and tomorrow will be the warmest day of the week. Saturday, temperatures are going to be considerably cooler, but still not bad. It's Sunday that looks like it has the best chance for some rain and the biggest drop in temperature. We'll show you that in a moment. First, take a look outside right now. Cloudy skies, as you can see on the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed radar, it's free. 14 degrees after hitting 17 for a daytime high today, 8 degrees warmer than average. Keep in mind that average high is 9 because, yes, it gets a lot cooler Sunday, but it's still going to be pretty close to average. 5 degrees for a morning low, and we'll stay several degrees above zero again overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. 15 in Red Deer and Grand Prairie today. Got to 10 in Cold Lake and Lloydminster, so a little cooler there than it was even at high level. High level hitting 13 degrees this afternoon. Lots of sunshine through the first half of the day, but there's the cloud cover that has spilled its way in from the west and southwest. The upper ridge is starting to break down off to the east, and so we'll get one more day with a nice warm southwesterly flow, but that tomorrow will definitely be the last one. And on that southwesterly flow, you'll see some increase in cloud late in the day tomorrow and a chance of some showers early Saturday morning. Now, you'll notice on Futurecast here, the best chance for showers. This is 4 a.m. Saturday. Best chance is going to be north and west of the Edmonton area. There is some uncertainty with where exactly that band of broken showers will be. Could shift a little further to the southeast, so we've put a slight chance of a shower in for early Saturday morning. Most, probably all of it, though, misses the city. And then we actually get some clearing, it looks like, Saturday afternoon as the rain moves off into northeastern Alberta. So should be around 13 degrees for a daytime high Saturday afternoon with some sunshine. There's the clouds rolling in with the next system for Sunday. And you'll notice some snow in western and northwestern Alberta. At this point, it doesn't look like there's going to be all that much in the way of accumulating snow. And for Edmonton, it's a much better chance that it's just rain as opposed to snow. And that rain probably pushes north of the Edmonton area by late Sunday afternoon. So plan for some showers sort of mid to late morning Sunday into the early afternoon hours, and then cloudy and cool, but the rain moving north by late Sunday. 14 degrees in Edmonton right now. It's 14 as well in Grand Prairie, 11 in Red Deer, and 9 in Fort McMurray. Wind has been a lot calmer today than it was yesterday and should stay pretty light overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. We'll drop to about 5 degrees tomorrow morning. Some sunshine to start the day, but increasing cloud as the day goes on, and temperatures increasing to about 13 degrees by lunchtime at a high of 18 by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, really warm day tomorrow. Temperatures do start to cool, and it looks like by the time we hit Sunday, Monday, that cooler air will stick around right through to the end of October. 13 degrees Saturday. Again, looking at a mix of sun and cloud for Saturday with a slight chance of a shower early in the morning. Sunday, better chance of seeing some showers and a high of about 8 or 9 degrees. 8s as well for Monday, Tuesday. Might get back to the 10, 11 degree range 1 or 2 days, middle to the end of next week. But as we mentioned earlier, that is back a lot closer to average than we've been for a while. So one more really warm one tomorrow, and then things take a turn.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Coming up, the NBA rocked by a gambling scandal.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
A coach, current and past players arrested, and
the accused must provide information that clearly demonstrates they do not pose a public safety risk.
Details of a new bail reform bill discussed. It's being called an historic takedown, allegedly involving mafia families and both former and current NBA players and a coach. U.S. authorities accusing more than 30 people of being involved in 2 separate schemes, including sports betting and rigged poker games. With the latest, here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
The stunning charges coming just days after a brand new NBA season tipped off, with these current and former players, including a Hall of Famer, among those accused, following investigations involving sports betting and rigged poker games linked to the mafia.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
U.S. authorities laying out 2 separate schemes. The first involving Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, who was arrested along with former NBA player Damon Jones. Investigators say they provided information about games to co-defendants who used it to place illegal bets.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games,
or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses.
You got to keep fighting.
Authorities say one example took place when Rozier was playing for the Charlotte Hornets in 2023. They say he let others secretly know he planned to leave a game early with a supposed injury.
Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit.
For more than a year, authorities in New York have been looking into illegal gambling after Toronto Raptors player Jonte Porter was caught disclosing information to bettors. The NBA banned him for life. Authorities say the second indictment involves Jones and the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, Chauncey Billups, who allegedly took part in illegal poker games rigged by the mafia using high-tech cheating devices, including X-ray tables that could read cards.
Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines.
The NBA says Billups and Rozier are being put on immediate leave and that it'll continue to cooperate with authorities. Jonathan Valley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
The Carney government tabled a bill today meant to crack down on violent and repeat offenders. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
On Tuesday afternoon, shots rang out at this busy shopping plaza in Brampton, Ontario. A woman shot and killed a child abducted. The man accused was awaiting trial for domestic violence charges involving the same woman, 29-year-old Savannah Kula. It's these types of repeat and violent crimes Ottawa is hoping to crack down on, with new measures announced today.
This is a package of sweeping reforms that includes more than 80 targeted measures that will make bail laws stricter and sentencing tougher.
The federal Liberal government has been accused of being soft on crime and for allowing a so-called revolving door justice system that's too lenient on violent offenders. The changes announced today are designed to make bail more difficult to get, creating a reverse onus that falls on the accused.
The accused must provide information that clearly demonstrates they do not pose a public safety risk.
The bill also introduces a new set of aggravating factors that will lead to stiffer penalties against violent and repeat offenders, as well as those who target first responders, organized retail theft, and crimes against public infrastructure. Victims' rights advocates, police unions, and some provinces have been demanding these types of changes amid a rise in violent and high-profile crimes. But not everyone is on side. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association says there is not enough evidence that shows bail causes crime, and they worry innocent people will be held in custody as a result.
We do worry that as we erode this charter right more and more and more, we'll get into a situation where just because you are accused of something, before you have your day in court, you're held behind bars.
Asked about whether this bill will require more space in jails, the Justice Minister said provinces asked for these changes and should be developing the capacity to manage more people going through detention facilities. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A Vancouver business owner is warning other businesses after a man managed to steal nearly $5,000 in a matter of seconds.
They want to put it on their credit card, but they took the machine, and instead of them putting their PIN number, they refund themselves $4,900.
The video shows the suspect using a point-of-sale machine and leaving without the hairbrush the owner says he came in to buy. Benares, the company that processes the transactions, agreed to refund the money after being contacted by CTV News. CTV has tracked down one business in Alberta and two in Ontario that have fallen to the same scam.
$5,000 being taken can make or break a business. It could easily close a small business.
Some of the businesses got their money back, some did not. In Nova Scotia, 3 pilot whales were rescued after swimming too close to shore, discovered struggling to get back to deeper water. This video captured the moment on Port Hood Island when bystanders jumped into action and helped the whales back into more comfortable depths. The Marine Animal Response Society was alerted and was on the way, but called their team off when they heard members of the public had stepped in. First responders see the unimaginable on a daily basis. In an attempt to deal with the stress, an Alberta firefighter turned to holistic therapies to heal his physical and mental health. Now he's trying to help others. Kevin Fleming reports.
He was on an emotional roller coaster and his body hurt constantly for close to 5 years. Chris Canales was struggling with how traumatic stress was affecting him.
I had reached a point in my life that 17 years on the fire department and all of the calls that I had gone on and experienced really started to accumulate and spill over into my family and personal life. There was emotional distance, there was anger, exhaustion, and just a depressive state.
He tried traditional therapies, but it wasn't until he turned to a holistic approach that he started to see a difference.
Trauma-informed yoga, breath work, Reiki, and somatic healing. A combination of these modalities has really allowed me to just tap into each part of my body and be able to understand and recognize what's going on.
Canales found a warrior's peace to share what worked for him with other first responders.
So he really has surrounded himself with other people who have a similar mindset on wellness, in that it needs to be holistic, it needs to integrate different approaches. And when we all work together, it's way more effective than any one modality or approach on its own.
Megan Ovia says the first responders who were in the program are benefiting from it.
We want to create a team and community so that the work that we do isn't just a Band-Aid fix, it's a systemic solution. So the person's nervous system is healed, the trauma can be worked on, and relationships can be improved as well.
Canales says he's in a much better space today, both physically and mentally.
Truly magical and crazy. I didn't think I'd ever feel that way, but it's just been amazing, and I live through it every single day.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
Coming up, the Prime Minister says Canadians should prepare to make sacrifices.
There's certain demands or desires to expand in different areas, and we won't be able to move as quickly as we otherwise would.
What's expected in the Carney government's first budget? Also ahead.
In trade, location is everything, and where you are sends a big signal.
The Prime Minister prepares to head to Asia. Stay with us. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar closed at 71 cents U.S. Oil was up $3.29, closing the day at $61.79 U.S. a barrel. Gold is up more than $80. The TSX and Dow Jones both higher, up 203 points and 144 points. In a pre-budget speech, the Prime Minister said he wants to follow the American model to recharge the economy by importing less and exporting more. Mark Carney says it will mean sacrifices for Canadians. CTV's Michael Couture reports.
Why don't I not scoop the budget?
Prime Minister Mark Carney came close to revealing parts of the November budget, but he did expand a little on Wednesday night's speech, where he told university students transforming the Canadian economy would take some time and some sacrifices.
There's certain demands or desires to expand in different areas, and we won't be able to move as quickly as we otherwise would.
What will our legacy be in the future?
The founder of Generation Squeeze says the sacrifice that should be made is a change to the old age security program.
Can we ask those of us who are financially secure to maybe take smaller subsidies in retirement so that the savings can be repurposed to eliminate seniors' poverty and to help our kids and grandchildren?
That's a red line for the Bloc Québécois, who has been asking for a boost to old age security. Despite hearing themes of fiscal restraint from Carney, the Conservative leader isn't buying it.
It's always the bait and switch. You know, he said he would spend less. He's spending 8% more. His deficit is 100% more than the one that the Liberal government had already put in place.
Carney did say dental care, health transfers, childcare, and the National Food Program won't be affected. The budget is being crafted as trade negotiations continue with the U.S., focused on the steel and aluminum industries.
The Americans are moving to an approach which is sector by sector as opposed to global.
Carney says if there isn't progress in those affected sectors, his government will ensure other countries don't have unfair access to our markets if we don't have access to theirs. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
And Ottawa is fighting back against American automakers who have cut jobs in Canada. There will now be limits on the number of vehicles Stellantis and General Motors can import tariff-free from the U.S. to sell in Canada. It comes after the companies announced they are reducing production in Canada. The Prime Minister will head to Asia tomorrow for 2 major economic conferences. At the top of the agenda will be diversifying trade and defense. CTV's Junie Trin has more on what to expect.
3, 2, 1, and we cut.
This week, Canada celebrated 10 years of free trade with South Korea to withstand the tariff war launched by the Americans. More agreements like this in Asia will help.
In trade, location is everything, and where you are sends a big signal. This Prime Minister has been to Europe 5 times. The action in terms of economic growth is in Asia. It's the growing middle class. It'll be a big part of the economic growth that the world is enjoying.
In September, Canada also signed a free trade agreement with Indonesia, the biggest country in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. At ASEAN, Prime Minister Mark Carney will work toward a separate economic treaty with the other 9 members of the economic bloc. Then he'll travel to Singapore to meet with that country's new leader, Lawrence Wong. But it's at APEC in South Korea where the stakes get much higher. Donald Trump is also attending the summit, and Carney has left open the possibility of announcing tariff relief for steel and aluminum.
We'll see. We're ongoing discussions with the Americans, and I wouldn't overplay it.
On Carney's schedule is a visit to Hanwha to assess if the Korean submarines are suitable for the Canadian Navy. Officials are also pursuing a bilateral meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The Canada-China Business Council is hoping a face-to-face will lead to a solution in the fight over electric vehicles and canola.
There are challenges on both sides in different sectors. EV tariffs should be part of that conversation. The counter tariffs on agri-food should be part of those conversations.
Coming up, making memorable moments for neighbors.
This is nothing compared to what's coming.
A Halloween display that grows every day.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk. Brought to you by Superheroes and Blockbusters with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
With Halloween just about a week away, many homes are fully decked out in their spooky decor. One Vancouver man prefers to savor the season. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
After happening upon this deceased duo, the first living person to walk past is Wee Wong.
It's just random, random guys.
Wee says skeletons start congregating round his house the day after Labor Day.
This is nothing compared to what's coming.
At least 2 will take over the truck.
It's storage.
Before another gets behind the wheel of the boat.
Every day some stuff trickles out of my garage and my basement.
And every day, after working as a mechanic,
I got boxes and boxes.
Wee will spend a couple hours with this spooky stuff.
People, they watch the progress, and they're walking by every day and say, ooh, 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 ooh.
Preparing for the big night.
You want a happy story?
Wee's Halloween story began when his family moved to Canada when he was 6.
When I was a kid, I used the same costume for years and years and years, right?
When he had kids of his own, Wee ensured that every year they could get new costumes and experience new thrills.
You know, basically, I had kids that are now grown up, and I'm stuck with the Halloween stuff, and they're gone.
But because Wee made so many happy memories with them, his now grown kids will come back to help their dad on Halloween night.
Need a hand?
To make memorable moments for the thousands of kids in the neighborhood expected to tour his display.
Some of the smiles are bigger than what Santa gives you.
Well, the skeletons are showing their age.
I'm 63 now, just an old kid.
Wee has found that giving back to the community like this keeps him young at heart.
Everybody's good at something, and I guess this is what I do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
And that is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca, or you can find us on the CTV channel on YouTube. Have a great night.